things that inspire me are experiences in life. A lot of my own emotions, a lot of my own life experiences I channel into the things that I create. Music gets me in a mood, things like that. I'm always having music on when I'm creating. And I always like to say, when I'm creating and channeling my own emotions, it's the best way for me to process some of my complex emotions because it is productive and not destructive the way that other practices in life maybe could be. So art is something that is a safe space for me to channel some hard things sometimes.
You know, just change up, having a different change every single day, being challenged every single day. That inspires me.
Ultimately, my family, community, and culture really inspire the work that I do. I have a lot of memories growing up and of just different pastimes of just different family members having a hand in raising me, and also community. Like, there's so many stories from our community that were told orally, and so in my artwork I feel like a lot of those stories have been translated into canvas or whatever medium that I'm working in.
You looking at someone in a conversation and like get stuff like on their eye or like their cupid's bow or like something, and I'll be like, oh, I need to do a painting about that. Like a lot of human bodies.
I never knew it at the time that like you have to have thicker skin, I think, sometimes going through in the art world and doing the things. Like if you're doing it for yourself, it's amazing. And doing it for other people, it's also amazing. But it's asking the right questions, you know, and not being afraid to say no.
Having a full-time job and not having time to create as much as I want to, that is the constant struggle.
One of the biggest challenges, so I technically did not receive my degree until a few years ago. So I went to school for the 4.5 years at UND, but then my husband and I and my daughter, we had to move actually to Winnipeg. And so I always thought I would get back to it, like, you know, I just finished up that one course or whatever it was, and I just never really worried about it. And because I didn't have that degree, for some reason people just didn't feel that I was accomplished enough or had the knowledge as an artist. But it didn't stop me. I just continued to kind of push forward, and you know, and thankfully in our Indigenous communities, they do respect that and appreciate that. So I did find a lot of support in those spaces. I've always felt it was really important to have the voices of Indigenous youth and women being told in these stories, so that I think that's a consistent. But then it's like, what do I want to say? And it really varies on like what I'm making it for. Like I have a series right now where I am sharing conversations in terms of empowering again, our Indigenous women and children, and then there's like a storyline, so I'm incorporating like some of our folklore or mythology, which aren't terms I care to use. Those are just our stories. But I guess to translate that's the best way I can describe it.
The small thing, like, it always like comes out of nowhere, where I'm like, feel like random like crack on the street. Oh, I could do a painting of cracks and this and that and that. Like it's like all like small things adding together. The mundane things in life, I guess.
I began creating things since I was a very young child. I very distinctly remember the first time I learned how to draw a star, and I was about 3 years old, and it was on a chalkboard. And ever since, I've always just been creating?
I remember sitting at the table in my kitchen, and I had like a little coloring page and my crayons, and I didn't want to color in the page, so I turned it over to the blank side and I said to my mom, I want to draw. And she's like, well, go ahead, do it. And I was like, well, I don't know what to draw, Mom. What should I draw? And she goes, draw what you feel. And I colored the entire piece of paper black.
I feel like I'm most like drawn to painting. Like when I'm talking to people, I'm like, oh yeah, like but I'm painting this and this piece that I've done. It's mostly that I'm talking about painting, because I didn't start painting or like doing anything artistic until COVID, honestly. And then I remember I was like going through, like I don't know what to do, like I had all this time, and I found like these like little pipe cleaners and like these very gooey, gobbly paints, and I just started looking on Pinterest and recreating silly little paintings. And so that's how I started, was painting. And so that's definitely what I relate to the most and what I want to keep doing.
Art should always be fun. Go and enjoy it. Don't be scared of it.
Continue to make space for all creatives to share their stories and their talents.